What is up, everybody? What's going on? This is the Just Like Bruddas podcast, episode 23, our Jordan episode. We have brought the soundboard back at the request of our special guest today, Graham Hill, now PA announcer for Pitt Community College basketball. Graham, thank you for coming on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen some previous episodes, and yeah, speaking of the soundbar, we were about to just start rolling, and I was like, Kai, you got to bring out the soundbar for me. I want a special effect. How many sound?
He's got like 50.
Let's see. Yeah, we got about 7 per roll, 6. We got about 42 different sounds.
This is weird because usually I'm the one doing interviews, with the Four Show podcast that Junior I used to have. But one question I want to ask y'all. What's your favorite sound effect that he has on the soundboard?
None of them. I like that one. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
he's usually the one that interviews us, as he just said. But this time you're the one getting interviewed here today. Of course, that's Kai Jones, if you don't know. Graham, we'll just start with PCC basketball and you getting that gig as a PA announcer. What does it mean to you that you get a gig like that in year 2?
It's pretty cool, even though it is at, the JUCO level, but JUCO not only just with sports, I guess it provides a great talent with PA. That's what I'm hoping for. And 2 weeks ago, I got a text message from Kalisha James, who I guess you'd say is the director of game day operations over there. She just heard a little bit about me and seen some of my stuff on social media with commentary, and just asked me if I'd be interested in their PA job over there. So, I'm not going to turn that down, because it is a job at the college level, no matter what you want to say about it. So I responded back to her, went over there, I think the next night. Got to meet with her, got to meet with Coach Mullins along with the other coaching staff, meet with the team, and then that was on a Thursday, and then that's the Sunday of that week, jumped right into it and got right on the job, and done about 3 games now, and it's been fun. They let me run music too, they said
nice.
Yeah, so check out, if there's any coach out there or AD that needs a fire playlist to play your basketball games, I got it public, it's all clean.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It does not have the soundbar effect on it, unfortunately. But I mean, there's some bangers up there. But
I see.
Man, it's been a lot of fun. Been very fortunate to get that job, like you said, just in year 2, and enjoyed it. Just in the 3 games that I've been doing. I look forward to doing it for the rest of the season. Hopefully get closer with the players and the coaches and make it a little more fun over there at Pitt Community College.
And the thing about PCC is that they are a really tight-knit family out there. Coach Mullins is a great coach. I actually saw him in Raleigh this past weekend at the Millbrook Showcase, which was a great tournament.
Look at you, flexing that you were up in Millbrook.
What? Look, I'm not flexing. I just went to take pictures. That's it. I mean, I think it was fun. I wish you were there, but no, it was a good tournament nonetheless. But Graham, you are an alum of North Lenore High School in Wheat Swamp, and they have one heck of a football season, one of the greatest in North Lenore history. So what was it like for you seeing the team go up throughout the year and have that, what was it, 6-0 start?
6-0 start, yeah.
And great, best start in school history through 6 games. And what was that like? You and Parker Mitchell were definitely out there for a lot of those games. I'm
not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous that I'm still not a student out there to be a part of it, because God knows I had the North Lenore Hawk Crazy student section Twitter page that I started up, and my senior year was a part, or I guess you'd say the leader of the Hawk Crazies. But for an alumni, it was just really cool to see, the football program go from. And I don't mean this in a harsh way, because obviously Coach Brown was a great coach as well. Yes, but to go from mediocre to now just, that 6-0 start, we thought that, or at least I thought that this was going to be, North Lenore's year to win the Eastern Carolina Conference, just because it was kind of a toss-up this year. But it was just really cool, especially for me in my first year of doing local sports. It was Jim Collins' first year at North Lenore. So he was actually one of the first coaches I ever got to interview. And him and I became really close, along with his wife, Chrissy, and his daughter, Larkin Fate. So I got really close with their family.
Great family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love the Collins family.
Absolutely. And I love how, his oldest daughter, Lark, helps him out so much with the field paint and stuff like that. But it was just really cool to see the struggle and the adversity that they went through in his first year as a head coach, not to win a single game, because it's tough for any new coach to come in and have a bad season, because it's not going to just flip just like that, but to not win a single game in your first year, a lot of questions start getting asked, like, did we hire the right guy? And I also don't mean this in another bad way, but, obviously with the student body, there were some things being said about Coach Collins, and I don't think the students, jumped right into the support, for good reason, not winning a single game.
Going 0-10 is tough in year one.
Right, and it makes it hard for the student section to go out there and cheer for your team.
Absolutely.
But one thing that really impresses me, speaking of that, for Coach Collins this year to have the success that he did have, to not kind of throw it back in the student's face saying like, hey, you guys were down me last year, and just like that I turned around, in your face. He was very humble, and after every game the first thing he would tweet out is thank you to the Hulk Crazies and the fan support, which is something that I really admired, being a leader of the student section when I was there. But it was just really cool to see the transition, to see the hard work pay off, especially in the senior class this year, who stuck with Coach Collins, and of course he gives them great recognition and praise. It was just really cool for not only myself, my other classmates, to be texting each other like, dude, North Lenore won another game, they're still undefeated.
You're just like, wow, are they like really going to make the playoffs and all this
Yeah.
stuff? You're like, whoa, hold up. After 0-10 and then 8-3, you're like, wow,
And for me personally, it was really cool to be able to broadcast some of their games and do commentary on it, especially, sitting through that first year of Coach Collins, the Coach Collins eras where they did not have the success that they had this past year, but to be there and commentate games and they got to win was truly special for me.
And speaking of interview, or did you want to?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, you got it. Go ahead.
Little known fact here, Ram was a part of the greatest tennis season at North Lenore.
This is true. Shout out to Scott Alston if you're watching this, my famous tennis coach. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
Ram was a big part of that. He was probably the guy who influenced me the most to go out to North Lenore tennis a lot, just because him on the Hot is Crazy page, but also him just always embracing the media.
And that's another thing. Scott Alston just doesn't do so much for the tennis team, being the head coach of there. I mean, he's one of the leading directors for rec tennis in Kinston.
Oh yeah.
So he does so much, and he's a great guy. Love him to death. I know if there's anything that I ever need, I can text him no matter how old I am or where I'm at. But I just wanted to make sure he got the recognition for being a great coach like he is that he deserved. And
100%.
my freshman year was the last time that North Lenore won a conference championship, and then my sophomore, junior was kind of rebuilding years, going 4-8 back-to-back seasons, and then my senior year to go 15-2, I believe, was our final record. It just shows how hard he worked us and how much he believed in us to get things turned around. So yeah, that was the reason. I mean, you probably got tired of me bugging you so much. Hey, come out to tennis matches. It's like, who goes to tennis matches to do like sports? I know Genius has been a big part of it now, but
of course, with Green Central, with girls tennis being
absolutely.
That's
right. I mean, of course, Ariel Parrott.
And Parrott tennis winning the state championship, of course.
Yeah. The big thing for me was always tennis. Always worked out perfectly for me when I first got to Kinston, because like the North Lenore tennis where they play at, and what's the park?
Bill Fay Park.
Yeah, Bill Fay Park.
Don't even have tennis courts or a school. We had to travel 15 minutes to play matches, but
and to practice.
Yep.
But it was always, it's right down the street from the Free Press office, and it was great too because North Lenore tennis was on that same run at the same time as North Lenore baseball was on that big run too.
Man, yeah,
so it was perfect. Like I could go to the Free Press, I could go to the tennis match, then go back to the Free Press, write it up, and then be at North Lenore for a 7 o'clock first pitch. And that was just really I think that was a special time to be at North Lenore. I mean, just because
it was special for me my senior year. I mean, especially.
Yeah, everybody really got behind the baseball and the tennis team.
And Coach Massey has a great baseball program. And
Yes.
they're gonna be consistent. I know they lost a lot of seniors from last year's team, but they're gonna be right back in the hunt this year for a conference championship.
And that was a cool thing too. Like they just had such a special team too. It was 9 or 10 seniors on that team, and you get close to teams when you cover teams like that close because you're there every single playoff game just about. And it was special watching them. They beat North Johnston, beat Hereford County, beat West Craven, Randleman. That I think it was a sack bunt.
Yeah, the sacrificial bunt from Aaron Worley.
Yeah, and
those
and
are
of course,
some great programs. Too.
Yeah, and then Whiteville, of course, is.
I
believe Randleman had I can't remember his name, but their starting pitcher had committed to play at NC State, so.
And Quinton went toe-to-toe with them the entire game. Held that team scoreless the entire game. Of course, Randleman, this year they went to the state final.
Yeah, this past season, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. They
so that was, that's how, special teams begin. Sometimes it takes a little heartbreak.
But North Lenore Athletics is in a really good spot with, of course, Massey and Heather Carson share athletic director duties. But
I always loved going out to North Lenore just because North Lenore was always available for the most part. I could never, there was never really a time when
and the sausage dogs.
Yeah.
That's about that.
Shout out to the legendary North Lenore Booster Club for those delicious sausage dogs.
Man, I personally love the nachos.
Yeah, they're good too.
Yeah,
You're right.
because they got those. I think it was a Del High or something like that. Those nachos be hitting. Then of course they got a pretty good girls basketball team as well.
Great girls basketball team. Yeah, the boys have struggled a little bit to start the year, but Ashanti Lynch,
I believe
Chris
Russell just got his 100th win in wrestling too.
Or was it Elijah?
No,
it was Elijah Swinson.
I think it was Elijah
75.
Swinson, yeah. Wow, I didn't even know that. 100 wins, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a lot of wins to pile up. Graham, what has it been like to be able to cover your home area, and what are you think are your plans for the future?
It's been truly special. I mean, like you said, it's always great to go back to North North High School, obviously, since I went there, and it's just a tight-knit community, and, I have a lot of friends that still go there, and they kind of give me a celebrity status, but I'm like, guys, I was literally just in your shoes 2 years ago. If you want to make something happen for yourself, you just get out there and work for it.
What was it like trying to be a journalist when you had to go and cover games that were North Lenore versus South Lenore?
Yeah,
you're
you got to be unbiased, but at the same time, you're go hot.
Well, one thing I will say, I kind of feel like that's I always feel like a sports columnist needs to have something unique about him. And I feel like that's my uniqueness. Yes, I went to North Lenore. And then, yes, I do work in an industry where you have to be unbiased, but, I don't know, some people might hate it, but I feel like for the most part, a lot of people kind of find it cool or kind of embrace that. I'm like, he went to North North, so we can let him slide. There may be some people out there that absolutely hate that about me, but it was tough at times, especially, with the tough stretch that North North's football season had and covering that. I really wanted them to win, and sometimes you could catch that emotion. And it wasn't just because I was just, all go to North Lenore. It's just because I did not want to see them go an entire season without winning a single game. So if I ever got fired up on a call that North Lenore made, it wasn't no negativity to the team that they might have been playing. It's just for me personally as an alumni, I just didn't want to see my old school, suffer what they were going through that year.
But yeah, I know it was an 0-10 season, but it wasn't like they got blown out in every game. They were There were 4 or 5 games that were right there for them. It's just they couldn't close it,
Funny story. So I was in Greenville the night they played Kinston High, and it was a weird game because it was a Thursday night game, and you remember that football season? There was
my goodness, every game got moved to
I don't even know how many games actually got played on a Friday night. I think I can count on my fingers maybe 3 that we did.
Yeah, I was going to say absolutely.
I was at Pitt Community College. I was taking a night class, and they were playing Kinston High for homecoming. And Kinston High went undefeated that season, won the conference championship. So the odds were not. If you could bet on high school sports, you were taking the spread, and you were taking Kinston High.
By a lot.
And I got out of class about 7:30, I want to say, and I started listening to 960 The Bulls broadcast. Brian Hanks was on the call along with head coach Jimmy Smith. And Jason
Bryan.
Bryan.
They do a great job as well.
Yeah, Jason Bryan as well. They do a great job over there at 960 The Bull. But I believe when I tuned in, North Lenore was up 7-0. And I'm kind of like, Well, one, I'm an NC State fan, so I know about how when the odds are stacked against you, you show up for the big games. A lot could happen in those 4 quarters, but I believe North Road then went up 14-0. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, it is homecoming. It is a Thursday night. I'm not working this game, so technically I could go to it, but a lot could still happen. I don't want to jinx it. And then I'm listening to it, and then I believe North Road's defense got an interception. And so I'm like, yeah, I know. Then I'm really like skirting traffic to Greenville. I'm like, all right, I'm driving out there. So I gun it to North because I'm thinking, if they're about to get their first win of the season against this great Kinston High team, I got to be there for it. Just, because I'm still going to be a fan of the school. And unfortunately, North Road did lose. I kind of blame myself for going because I felt like that was the reason. But they lost that game on the lead 20-19. But it was a great. But that's just a perfect example of, like you said, even though it's going to go on paper as they had an 0-10 season, they can't match how close the games were.
Yeah, and it's not like Kinston went undefeated in the regular season, and they had I don't know how many close calls. My goodness. 8 one-score games.
8 points or less.
Oh my goodness, 8 by 1 score.
That
and the playoff game was by 1 score too.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So
that was no. The playoff game is one of those 8.
Yes.
Yeah, that season was just special. Just watching Kieran Hooker just work his magic.
I'm very thankful for Kinston football. That was my first assignment with the Free Press was a Kinston football game against North Pitt, which was pretty much a 1-score game, but ended up being by 2 scores.
I remember one of my favorite games. Didn't mean to cut you off. I just thought this. Speaking of those 1-scoring games, one of my favorite games I've ever broadcasted was Genius and I joined the News Game of the Week when we did commentary for their game against Spike that went into overtime. Not only was it a shootout, but it went into overtime. It was a close game, and Kinston High's defense stepped up big, and that was really their backbone in a lot of those close games. That defense was phenomenal. Match that offense that they had.
No joke. That Kinston team last year was special. They just you mentioned Kieran Hooker. I mean, Jaquiel Jacobs had a great run. Kyrie Garbitz last year and this year.
They were special.
Man, that was a great team to watch.
BJ Luder as well.
Yeah, BJ. That's right. Speaking of interviews, you talked about how Jim Collins was your first interview and that you were a State fan. A cool thing you got to do this week is you got to interview North Carolina State head coach Kevin Keats for the basketball team.
A winner.
Baby. Kevin Keats is a winner, and he's also one of the nicest people to talk to. You don't even have to talk to him about basketball, just anything. He's a real cool dude, and he is a winner. Kevin Keats is a winner. But how special is that?
You need to add that to your soundboard. The audio, just him saying Kevin Keats is a winner when it at his hiring press conference.
But yeah, well, what did that mean to you to be able to interview a Division I head basketball coach?
So, a quick backstory. That was actually not my first time sitting that close to Kevin Keats. 2 years ago, my senior year, I got invited to the Wolfpack Club Coaches Caravan Tour that came to the Kinston Country Club, and it was Kevin Keats was there, NC State football coach Dave Dorn, and NC State women's basketball coach, and now I can't remember his name. I feel super bad now, but I got seated at a table. And not only was I sitting beside Kevin Keats, who sat right beside me like this, I was also sitting with this is so crazy to think about. I had Kevin Keats on one side of me, and then on the other side I had Gary Hine, who is the voice of the Wolfpack Sports Network.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there as a senior, trying to get my broadcast career started. Yeah, I'm literally thinking that. I'm like, wow, the cards could not have played in my favor. So I sat right beside him there and probably talked his ear off. And then at the game the other night, he says he remembers me. Now, he could have just been saying that, not to break my heart, because I'm sure he meets so many people. But if he does remember me from meeting him my senior year at that Wolfpack Coaches Caravan Tour, and then doing an interview with him like that, that's truly special to me. But it was really cool. And the one thing that I like is he could have just answered short and sweet, but he gave full details with every question that Janice and I had to ask, and we almost felt like we were in an ACC media room or in the media room after one of his basketball games, because it wasn't like he just said, Yeah, we got a great team. I'm looking forward to what we do this season. He went right through and talked about the different players from North Carolina that he had signed for that recruiting class next year, and the current players he had.
Speaking of that class,
it's gonna be special up there in Raleigh next year. But
once again, all NC State fans, you should be very, very excited about what you guys have coming.
Yeah.
They're rich. Yes, they knocked it out the park. But I'm sorry. Continue. I apologize.
No, you're fine. All I really had left to say was, just a very humble coach to take the time to let James Knight interview him. 2 local correspondents, because it's obvious he was just at the game because he wanted to watch the action. But he still likes to give back to the fans. He likes to give back to the community, no matter where he is. And one thing I really liked is when he entered the gym, he walked right through the main lobby. He didn't come through the back door.
That's what he does. He goes. Yeah.
He just wants people to know, like, hey, I'm just a regular person. I'm just another guy here, and that's the same.
I'm just Kevin.
Yeah, that's the same. And I'm a winner.
I'm a winner.
That's the same respect and dignity he gave to James Knight. That's what I really liked about doing that interview.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. The coolest thing. He gave me a fist bump on the way out of the Phenom National Showcase at Ravenscroft. It was pretty. I felt pretty cool. I felt pretty good about myself because I had talked to him throughout the game because he was there to see. It was the night Josh Hall and Shaquille Moore both came in.
Wow.
And he was there to see him. And stop! I'm not flexing. It just happened, okay? But I can't even flex. But he was just out there watching a basketball game. He wasn't just being Coach Kevin Keys. He's just out there because he loves high school basketball. He loves the recruiting trail. He loves getting after it, and they're doing it the right way with recruiting.
So you're saying he wasn't out there to recruit, and then that was the same night that Shaquille Moore committed.
Well, I mean,
no comments. No.
Well, technically, I kind of messed that up, but hold up. But truthfully,
killing me with that soundboard.
Yeah, it was. Junius was just over here. It was the same way. He was cracking up, and I was just like, "Really, Kai?" I'm not happy. As for basketball season, speaking of you of course were there to see Kinston High. How have they looked so far this year to you? How did they look last night in that game?
Well, one, you got to give credit to Washington. Their new head coach. You can obviously tell the program is going in the right direction. They had picked up some signature wins against First Flight, Southwest Edgecombe. I can't remember the
Conley twice.
Yeah, Conley twice.
One of them double overtime.
Yeah. So Washington this year could be a force to reckon with in the East Carolina Conference. But Kinston, they look just as good, if not better, than they did last year. Dontre Styles, of course, is the
cheat code.
Yeah, he's a cheat code in high school basketball. Isaac Parson, he's sneaky good as far as getting through defenders and getting to the rims. And then you got some big contributing guys like Will London, who really impressed me. One thing about Kinston High that I noticed last year is it seems like they have a role for every player.
Yep.
You have Dontre Styles, who's kind of the leader. You have Isaac Parson, who's the backbone of the offense. And then you have Will London, who does the dirty work as far as going in and drawing fouls to get on the free throw line. Chance Minot, who's kind of their physical player, who is really going to be a defender, or is really going to be playing tough defense on whoever has the ball.
Can make timely shots too.
I can't remember who it was. It might have been BJ. Is BJ Leader still at Kinston?
No, I think you're talking about
Jeremy Dixon.
It was Jeremy Dixon. He's the vocal point of that basketball team because he was out there and he was saying, "I got you on your right side," or letting the other players know when a pick's getting set. So that's what I like about Kinston is Perry Tyndall really takes pride in making sure that every 5 player that's out there on the floor has a specific role that they should be doing throughout the game. So Kinston is ridiculously good. Washington's up there. Wes Craven, of course, David Fernandez, who I'm really good friends with.
And we also got to shout out South Lenore. Paul Nowicki has them 4-1 to start the year. They won 4 games all last year, and they should be. They really should.
Yeah, they're balling right now.
They are. Yes. They beat Wes Craven the other night, and their one loss. I was there for their one loss. Of course, I feel bad now. Because they lost to Spring Creek in overtime, but they got that win back in deep run and blew them out. That's exactly what they're doing. Washington, I said, was going to be one of the most improved teams, and they have proven me right. J.H. Rose is another one, if you want to give one for them too. But not just the Kinston boys. The Kinston girls got to get some love too. They're no slouches either.
Coach Bradshaw does a spectacular job over there.
Yeah, and they got their entire team back from last year. They're going to be tough to beat. I believe that. Yeah, they're going to be. There's some buckets out there. I mean, I think Kinston's playing Eastern Wayne soon, correct?
I believe they're playing on the 20th.
Yeah, and then let's see. I can't wait for that Kinston-Goldsboro matchup. I know you've been talking about it.
January 9th.
Man, because
that's really what's going to tell us about who Goldsboro is.
What you got?
One game that I'm really looking forward to, and I cannot believe you guys have not mentioned yet, the MLK Classic.
Yeah.
The main event, 8 o'clock tip-off, Farmville Central travels to Kinston High to take on the Vikings.
Yeah.
If you are a high school basketball fan, you need to be in that gym for that game because it is going to be insane.
I definitely agree with that. Really.
Well, the thing about that one is we're going to get that one again, though.
Yeah, they should be meeting in Minji's Coliseum in March.
We're going to get that again. We're going to get that 2 times.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you got to give Farmville credit for at least going out there. True road game, no neutral site. They're going straight to Kinston to play them. I like it.
I mean, technically, you could say it's a neutral site just because
it is
a tournament, but
it's at Kinston High.
Kinston is hosting it, so it is a home game for Kinston. But the Farmville Central faithful,
they're going to travel.
The Jag, I think it's the Jag in their student section. They're going to travel well.
Jag's Den, yeah.
I bet you. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I bet you Farmville Central student section. And hoping they're going to do this so I don't look stupid. I bet they'll take up. You know how big the bleachers are. I bet they'll fill up a whole set of bleachers.
One thing I learned about.
I think that whole place is going to be packed.
Oh my goodness!
I think you probably had to get there probably around the second or third game of the day if you really want to see that Kinston.
Or if you have
it's going to be if you have those media passes. But if you just want to have a great day,
for us though, there's only so many people they letting up in there.
But I promise you,
but I think we've earned some respect, right? I think you have.
Well, I probably won't be there.
Oh, sure. Well,
I think Princeton plays Southwest Extra on that same day.
Is it at night?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Princeton's another good team.
The BSN Classic.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great game.
But that
whole lineup is just because.
If you need Tom Genius, man, he's gonna be the media director.
I said I want Junius to let me be the sidekick for this event, man.
As I also did. It's like as soon as Junius
we should be a trio tag team. The faction, the clique is coming back.
I don't know if you're a WWE fan, but we can be the shield of the MLK tournament.
I thought it was just gonna be NWO straight up, old school. Because
the Wolf guy. We're talking about
Wolfpack is back, causing mass destruction. I'm just playing. I really want to work that event. And the John Wall, too. I hit up Brian Hanks or Webb about that.
Now, I'm upset because I cannot work the John Wall tournament again this year because I have to go through round 2 of jaw surgery. If you have a sad sound effect, feel free to...
If you have the sad one? Well, I mean, close enough.
We'll take it.
But yeah, I know you've been a workhorse, and I know you've had that jaw problem for several months now, right? And so you're getting jaw surgery in the next few weeks.
I'm actually flying up to Chicago because that's where I'm having the surgery done. Flying up there Sunday, having the surgery done on Monday, and then flying back Thursday. So Christmas is going to be a little different this year, but I'd much rather take having the second jaw surgery during Christmas break when I can just stay in bed and not get and have a good reason for not getting out of bed rather than like I did the first go around. Because I had it I think 2 weeks into the start of my first semester and was out of school for a month, and it was brutal getting back into the routine of school along with everything else. But was able to push through it, and it's unfortunate that I got to have a second surgery, but at the same time, just be thankful that you get it during a break so you can really take, the 3 weeks and not have to worry about, I'm missing this class or I can't cover this event. The only thing I'm upset about is that I cannot cover the John Wall tournament this year.
Yeah, that's going to be a great lineup too. Farmville and Kinston will be out there, of course, Greenfield and Millbrook, and of course Broughton hosts every year.
So we could potentially see Kids at High and Farmville Central 3 times this year.
Oh yeah, I think they're. I'm not sure they're in the same.
They're not
in the same bracket. We could. If they could have made. Yeah, I would. That's the only thing I was like, man. If you really want this Farmville Kinston matchup, imagine it at Broughton High. Man.
I think Farmville's in the same bracket as Montverde, so.
They are, I believe.
So I mean, we could get
Farmville. They could get
Dayron versus Farmville. You know, Dayron Sharp is actually from
Farmville, North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that'd be cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say the potential matchup.
I think Kinston. Who's
they play Moravian Prep first round.
That's right.
Maybe in my opinion,
Styles versus
Josh Hall. In my opinion, Moravian is the best team I've seen so far, and Millbrook is a close second. Moravian, of course, Josh Hall has played incredible. Shaquille Moore's played great. They have a great team, and I just feel like, yeah, off the top, just thinking about that matchup, I just feel like Moravian's size might be the difference. But Dontrez does so many great things that he will keep Kinston in it, and Kinston you can never doubt decay. So
I'm rooting for Kinston.
I definitely am too.
I want the East to win.
Of course, you know how much the 2-5 has done has been very good. Yeah, we want the East. Right? I mean,
is that 2 Chainz and Travis Scott that you? Wow, I gotta get this out.
Yeah, this has been like another soundboard episode. You know,
You're gonna have to hide that from him.
Yes, that's what I said the first time I used it. I was like, I can't take them anywhere now. But another team that's going to be there is Grace Christian Raleigh, and you were out there. What were you out there doing at Grace Christian?
So I went to Grace Christian this past Friday. Of course, Laura Jacobs, who's a teacher out there, her class is who I spoke for. She teaches a junior and senior college prep class, and she was one of the listeners that tuned into our live stream the state championship game with Part of News. Park and I did when Grace Christian.
Great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. When Grace Christian played Parrott. And she was just really impressed by the work we did, and I believe messaged me the next day saying, hey, you know, I really think it'd be cool if you came to our classes and spoke to these seniors who are getting ready to go, you know, to 4-year colleges and kind of talk about how you jump-started your broadcast career because it's something that I've always dreamed of doing. So I went there this past Friday and kind of shared my story, talked about, you know, what I've been doing, and just kind of encouraged them, like, hey, it doesn't matter how young you are, how much experience you don't have. You know, you just got to build your resume. You just got to get out there and make a name for yourself. And so, shout out to Laura Jacobs and her students at Grace Christian. Great school, great faculty, and great kids. And it was really cool seeing my boy Isaiah Anderson, who
Isaiah is one of the best 8-man players in the East.
Hands down.
Maybe the best. Yeah, he's led the way for the Eagles. I think first state championship in 8-man football ever, right?
Yeah, 5th season as a program and their first state championship.
34-33, and I know we were all 3 of us were out there, and that I still think about that 2-point conversion play. Man, that was something. That was just one heck of a game. Grace Christian built a huge lead, had that huge play before the half.
Yeah.
Parrott fought valiantly even through injury, and it was a great football game, and tough finish for Parrott, but feel really good for the Grace Christian football program.
And Parrott will always reload.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
They'll be just fine. Kyle, do you have anything, or are you just gonna play with the soundboard? Yeah.
Called you out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but we hope you've enjoyed our basketball content so far this year. Kai, I think you were at a great Southern Wayne and Goldsboro game early in the season. I got to see the Wayne County Classic for basketball, Goldsboro and Eastern Wayne. Kind of done a Wayne County takeover these last few days because Avi Smoke is back in Florida, chilling out. I wish I could go to Florida and chill out like it's easy. It's been a heck of an early season. Kinston's played great. Rose has played great. Washington's off to a great start.
Green Central.
Green Central.
They haven't mentioned anything about
Green Central. I know. That's a team we cover. And Green Central and Eastern Wayne split. They played. I don't know. I can't take him anywhere. But truthfully, Green Central, they just find a way to continue to have a great program out there. And Coach Blue Evans is one of the best. And BJ Corbett's played great. Zach Taylor off the bench. Jada Evans, LP. LP had that huge dunk that I saw.
Lamar Pridgen is a wanted man right now because, and it was against my old high school too.
It was against North Lenore, that's right.
Was it Kuntz that got dunked on?
I'm not
stating names because, but
nobody's had a better year at Green Central than LP though. He won homecoming king. He played football. I was there to see him get his first touchdown catch against South Central. Although he had a bad drop early in the first half, that probably was the difference. But that kid's had a heck of a year.
No, I think
been a pretty good school.
And I think he's definitely taking the chip on his shoulders. I mean, he was a great player last year playing under Amaje and those other seniors that they had.
Dante Shaquille, Double H, Hassan Hudson.
So I think
actually my cousin.
Really?
Yeah, I got my dad's people as Pridgens, and they're from the LaGrange area. So
interesting. It could you're doing the math,
Probably somewhere down the line. That's the crazy thing about working in your home area. You figure out all of these kids oh crap, this is my cousin somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I know you've got a lot of family here, of course.
Yeah, of course. You don't know nothing about that because you're from DC.
Look,
you're in DC. You like go-go music. From
what?
DC.
I'm
go-go music.
It's a joke. Look, I've lived in DC for 3 years. At the beginning of my life, I don't really remember like that, but
you still like go-go music.
No, I don't. I mean, it's cool, but
you still like music is.
I mean, it's all right to me.
It's very DC DMV type music.
It is true. I call DC Little Ethiopia. That's where no, I'm serious. Hear me out. Oh, I'm not.
You're Ethiopian.
Yes, my parents were born in Ethiopia. The reason why I call DC Little Ethiopia is because most of the Ethiopian population in America lives in the D.C. area, either in Northern Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., anywhere up the Northeast, pretty much. I mean, and even the Bay Area, California is also another safe haven for Abishas like myself. And, I mean, I still got a lot of love for D.C., and I'm going back for New Year's, so. But, Graham, you and I are kind of on the same timeline. I'm in year 2, you're in year 2. Of course, you're a lot more famous than I am.
No, that's not true.
But you've kind of had a.
You just flexed that you got a fist bump from Coach Keats before he left.
Look, it was probably just spur of the moment from him. I mean, I was like, cool, that's Coach Keats, man, that's crazy. But I can't wait for is the Good Guys vs. Cancer Showcase this weekend at First Flight.
I think that's the last thing we got to talk about.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I don't know if you.
That's another thing that I'm missing. Chad Williams was the one. He gave me a personal invite, and then I had to let him down and say I can't make it. But Chad Williams, if you're going to watch this, good luck with this weekend. It's a great thing that you guys do down there, and I'm going to make it up there to see you guys play. Not even if it's the Good Guys versus Cancer tournament. I want to see First Flight in action because they're led by the 3, died by the 3 team, and that's the kind of basketball that I like to see.
Yeah, they shoot the hell out of the basketball, man. They just let it fly. Because you saw the other night, Dylan Blake and Jordan High had 85 out of 87 points for them against Hickory High School, Virginia.
I do not mean this in a negative term what I'm about to say, but they got white boys that can shoot, and the motto is shoot or shoot, and that's just what First Flight does.
The thing is, people view them and think that they're like nobodies, but then when you actually play them, you're like, oh, yeah, we shouldn't have underestimated them.
I just want to say this: Dylan Blake gets pigeonholed into this shooter category. I just watched Trey Hoop Farm mixtapes.
Trey Corner, who was a guest of the show, and his brother John was a guest.
I watched his highlights against Washington. He took the dude down to the post.
Yep.
He shot the ball. He took it to the basket. He defended. He got 2 block shots, and he's
Yep.
like 6'1", 6'2". The kid is just.
Dylan Blake is not just a shooter. Exactly.
Jump.
Yeah, and hey, he actually has some hops, low key. He is very underestimated in terms of athleticism. He does a lot more than just shoot threes. And
and heck, First Flight does a lot more than just
they do.
shoot
They
threes.
don't just shoot threes. They get layups too.
They put threes up a lot, but I mean, a lot of their offense is also going to the basket, cutting.
Yeah.
They do a lot of great things in motion and with the 5 out.
And because people see them shooting all these threes, they're like, okay, we got to guard the 3, but then you get beat backdoor for a layup or 2. And it's not just Dylan and Jordan. They got Isaac Dobie, the freshman, who's pretty good. And they've had some really good contributors step up so far. I can't wait. They get to play Kinston and Word of God this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to go well for them.
They played Carmel Christian pretty tough until the last few minutes.
See, but I think Kinston's one of the. I know somebody's probably like, what about us? I think I'm one of the best 10 teams in the state.
Kinston?
Yeah, I think I'm one of the best 10 teams in the state.
That's not really pushing it. I mean, I can't really name 10 that are better. Like I can name like 6 or 7, but
people get a little touchy when you start talking about rankings and putting people.
Yeah, rankings places. And player rankings. If we say one bad thing about somebody, someone's gonna be like, relax. Okay.
But it's gonna be such a great showcase this Saturday. It's great that Phenom Hoops is
in the Hoop State Network.
In the Hoop State Network are going out there. It's amazing how Chad Williams gets everybody to go to the Outer Banks for a basketball tournament.
And
that's
kind of like one of the last places you think a basketball tournament would be held.
Right.
But
I think there would be a surfing contest before there's a basketball showcase.
But since 2007, First Flight High School, he's built up the program. Last year they had their school record for wins and made I think their first state tournament advances.
They played Grand Central in the 3rd round.
Yeah, and they had him on the road.
First Flight is proof that if you are willing to go anywhere and play anybody, that you will still get the same type of love. As long as you're still playing good basketball, and that's what they do. They play good basketball. They don't duck any competition.
They've played like some of the best teams in North Carolina so far this year.
Yeah,
and
they like I said, they just don't duck. They don't duck from the smoke. I mean, you would think a team who is a 2A team has probably mostly soccer players on their team, other than a few ballers. That they would be irrelevant in the grand scheme of the Hoop State, but I think when it comes to programs who get love, I mean, the East, you're probably looking at a top 5 program as far as how much attention they attract.
They really do fly under the radar because they're the Nighthawks. They fly under the radar in the Hoop State, but when you play those guys, they don't make it easy to get a win. I mean, they work for it.
The reason why I'm laughing is because
he loves those puns.
I do. First Flight flies under the radar. Yes.
You wanna?
I'm a pun connoisseur.
It's just like in that state championship game, Grace Christian did something, or I think it was when Parrott was making that comeback. I said, well, just because Grace Christian is calling the Eagles, they're not going to do the same thing that the Rock Band Eagles are doing with their hit song "Take It Easy," trying to seal this win. I'm a pun guy too.
That's what I like about you, Brandon. But nonetheless, can't wait to be up there. The other thing we forgot to talk about is we were gonna do kind of like my adventures up there First Flight and get some interviews.
Oh yeah. This guy's gonna be up there. He is gonna be vlogging the entire event. So he's gonna be Yeah. So he's gonna be there. He's gonna let you know what he's seeing from the games. He's gonna show you some highlights. Going to give you some interviews. It's going to be all one nice big package.
Yeah, and it's not just going to be related to like the big programs. Of course, everyone loves the Word of Gods, the Farmvilles, the Kinstons, the South Centrals, Myers Park.
Hey, we gotta give Pender some love.
Pender, Washington County. Of course, let's see, Northside, Pinetown's going to be there. Washington's going to be there. But it's not just about, and the Trinity Episcopal and Lansdowne for Virginia are two of the best in Virginia as well. But it's not just going to be about basketball. It's going to be about the bigger picture,
Right.
about cancer being the biggest issue in America, right? Pretty much in terms of health, right, in America. And people have stories that I want to showcase, and I hope it turns out well. I think it'll be great.
Chad Williams has a great story.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to spoil it because I'll let you talk about it. But yeah, definitely tune in so you can hear head coach Chad Williams at First Flight, his backstory, and why he started this tournament in the first place.
That will be one of them. Coach Jared Adams from Northside Pinetown. Of course, you know about the late Coach Mike Proctor from Northside and Coach Bam Adebayo before he went to Hypo Christian. So that'll be part of it, and I'll probably talk to Rashad Smith about it as well because, of course, he was at Northside. Coach David Alwall has a good story as well, and the Farmville Central Resource Officer Melissa Pierce as well is a great story that I want to talk about with some of their players and Coach Wilford. So I think it'll be.
A lot to do for you, man. A lot of stories for you to tell, man. But I believe in you, buddy.
Yeah. Always going to do a great job.
Yeah, I try my best.
Yeah, of course, I would be going, but unfortunately, not really unfortunately.
It's not unfortunate. You get to see his alma mater. Are you gonna?
No, I'm going to high school OT. I'm covering the.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're going to state. You are covering
the 4AA football state championship.
He got the big one.
Wow.
Vance High versus Leesville Road, the team that knocked off Wake Forest. And yeah, high school, he will be.
So I get to go cover a great football game. You'll be at basketball.
And Graham Hill, you're going to be doing your thing too. You're going to be all.
Going to be recovering, but
we hope that Josh surgery goes well, man. I know you have been grinding it out, literally, because it's he. Yeah. You've been grinding it out the last several months with that jaw. Yeah, straight up. But you're really good doing this business, and I'm glad you were able to come and do the show with us on such short notice.
Thanks, man. No, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Anybody watching, come watch Picking Union College basketball game.
I want to come to PCC too. I want to see them against either Wake Tech or LCC maybe, or Fayetteville Tech.
Come to Wake Tech or Fayetteville Tech, because unfortunately I won't be able to do the LCC game.
Battle of Highway 11.
I'll still be out of commission, which I hate. But yeah. Come see a Picking Union College basketball game. JUCO basketball is nothing to joke around with.
Oh, absolutely not.
It is fast-paced, fierce basketball, and
a lot of points.
I'm there to kind of add a little bit of a fun mix to it with the entertainment side. So definitely come check it out and come see me in action.
And of course, plug your social media, man. I am a promoter of people. I promote people, my friends, and stuff like that.
Yes.
Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter straight up at GrahamHill98, and then you can also follow me on Instagram at _Insta.Graham. I made that my sophomore year, and I'm probably never going to change that username because you can't really beat that.
The _Insta.Graham.
Follow me on Instagram at the Instagram.
Straight up. And of course, we got basketball content now because it's basketball season. Kai and I will be at Cleveland versus Corinth Holders tonight. You can follow him at MMJ Kai Jones.
Do you not have an air horn one?
Nah, unfortunately, I don't have an air horn.
How are you going to have a soundboard but you do not have
Well, it's just rap songs, but
That's the thing. It's going to have rap songs. You need to have we just made a meme right there.
By the way, because the thing is, before I tell my social media stuff, Kai always posts every weekend. He's like, "Which Striker Nation 24 _ are you?"
I love that.
I just hope we got some good ones for the Instagram story this time, right?
Kai is not only a soundboard master, but he's the meme master
as
well.
Meme Lord Kai Jones. Meme Lord. But yeah, at Striker Nation 24 _ at LMA Press, at WJG _sports, WJG Sports for Instagram, Facebook. Over 500 subs on YouTube now. Isn't that crazy? 500 subs, man.
533.
We do it. We are getting up there. I want. Oh yeah. Wait. There we go. We are. Hopefully, I made a goal. 1,000. Can we get 1,000 by the end of the school year? I think we can do it. But thank you again. Episode 23, Just Like Bruddas podcast. You can find it on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Peace out, brothers.